Dear boomers, Donald Trump's pathology reflects our pathology as a nation. Last night I saw a wonderful interview on Anthony Davis's program, which is called Weekend Show. He was interviewing Brandy Lee, Dr. Brandy Lee, psychiatrist, who I had originally seen on Amy Goodman's Democracy Now! At least 8 years ago, I think, where she was discussing her book called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president. And his rise to fame has been very disturbing. And of course, he is an authoritarian dictator. Not even, he wants to be that, but he could become that if we elect him president. I also enjoy Anthony Davis on his show called Uncover with Ron Filipkowski. And I had mentioned Ron the other day with his brilliant tweets, which I read a few of those. Ron is on it to expose Donald Trump's pathology. So the Psychiatric Association of America, I believe, shut her down so that she could no longer get the message across as to how dangerous Donald Trump actually is. This is a great statement. The ascendancy of an individual with such impairment speaks to our general state as a nation of health and well-being. So it's not just Donald Trump, he's like out there, he's outside of me. We are, basically, Donald Trump. A lot of us have not gotten involved in our democracy enough to have stopped this crazy man, his family, his crime, his criminology, the insurrection of the Capitol, the right-wing takeover of America. We were not paying attention, people. So the conversation with Anthony Davis and Dr. Brandy Lee goes deeply into the political landscape of this country, and it focuses on the psychological state of Donald Trump during this turbulent election season. Dr. Lee is not just a psychiatrist, she is a forensic and social psychiatrist. She calls Donald Trump a public health menace. She is a world expert on violence, and she's known for editing The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, which I had just mentioned, and she's been a vocal critic of Trump's mental health preceding the violence that has followed his presidency. She had predicted what would happen after 2016, that he would pretend that he had won the presidency, and all that violence she had predicted. So with Joe Biden stepping down, the hero that he is, and allowing Kamala to take his place, Trump's campaign strategy has failed, and it has shifted. He can't seem to understand how this has happened. Dr. Lee explains that Trump, known for narcissistic tendencies, struggles with this change, leading to a mental health deterioration that could have serious implications. And, he's going to try and do the same thing that he did in 2016, because if he loses, he's going to pretend that he won, and they're going to do some sort. I hope that we are all aware, including law enforcement, that this could easily happen. So, she highlights the stark contrast between Biden's ability to step aside for the greater good of the country and Trump's inability to adapt. According to her, this rigidity and emotional fragility are indicative of a deeper psychological issue that makes Trump a danger, not just politically, but existentially. One of the key concepts discussed. She's written this book called Trump Contagion, and this is what is discussed in this book. A team Dr. Lee uses to describe the spread of Trump's pathological symptoms to his followers. This psychological phenomenon explains why, despite his obvious decline, a significant portion of the electorate remains unwavering in their support. And may I add, not just his followers. We've all been sort of inundated by Trump, Trump, Trump. Yesterday I watched mainstream media for a while. I was decluttering my house, and I thought I would listen in to some of these Sunday morning shows. And each and every one, before I just absolutely gave up and went back to Midas Touch with Ben, and then later on Anthony Davis, they were acting like Trump is a normal person. They were acting like, he is, they normalized Donald Trump. What is his strategy going to be? If he keeps doing this, he's going to lose. They're treating him like a normal person, and it was getting so discouraging. Despite his obvious decline, these pundits are still doing this. And this is why so many of us have turned off mainstream media and have gone into the independent press, such as Midas Touch, Anthony Davis, and there's a lot of other people on that channel. Brian Taylor Cohen is another one, and there's several others that I just love. So this, the electorate has remained unwavering in their support, but there's a lot of Republicans coming over to Harris, and there may be some Trumpy people who are too. And we must, as decent human beings, be cognizant of this. We have to embrace people. I know it's tough. So Dr. Lee criticizes the media's handling of Trump's behavior, and she points out that treating him as a normal political candidate is wrong, and not only wrong, it's dangerous. As you can see, he's becoming more and more unhinged. He's writing these long Truth Social, all caps bullshit about, I think we're all in danger. Not just the mainstream media is in trouble if he gets elected, and the normal electorate who didn't vote for him is in trouble. And in fact, I had heard Scaramucci, the Mooch, talk about where he was going to move in the event of a Trump presidency, because he's in the firing line too. There's so many that are. In fact, I think all Democrats will be on Donald Trump's firing line. I am not a conspiracy theorist. And I cite Project 2025 for this information. That's what they plan to do. Dr. Lee criticizes the handling of this behavior, and she argues that the media should engage mental health experts more regularly to provide the public with a clear understanding of Trump's psychological state. So maybe they will. I think Morning Joe should have her on. He's not afraid of anything. And he's going to be on Trump's firing line too, and so is Mika. I mean, come on, people. Let's get a little bit more. Let's get into it. So as the conversation wrapped up, Dr. Lee stresses the importance of addressing Trump's mental health as a public health issue. Trump is a public health contagion. Isn't that something? She warns that without proper intervention, Trump's influence could continue to pose a significant threat to democracy. So I bought the book, and I bought the Kindle, and I'm reading it, and of course it is fascinating. It's a fascinating read. And the Democratic National Convention starts tonight. It will be a show of real camaraderie and unity, and real unity. Nobody is getting behind Kamala because they're afraid that she's going to kill them or denigrate them in front of the in front of the press, in front of the world. We are so fortunate we have her because Biden and Trump, the voters, the voters who are double haters, the ones who hate Biden and hate Trump, are coming over to Kamala in great numbers. I mean, Biden did such an amazing sacrifice for his country. He wasn't going to. He thought he could do it, but I don't think he could have because he was just becoming. But his mind is good, but he was just becoming weak, and he had just gotten COVID and all of this stuff. So tonight we are going to celebrate Joe Biden's contribution to democracy, and he's handing over the reins. He was being pressured to do it, but he realized that it was the right thing to do. So come on up here and check out my last video. Bye.